So this is my dilemma every morning. I come down and she's drooping, which is why I know for sure I need to repot her, and I've definitely waited too long. And I just came down today and I see that she is about to bloom. So this piece right here is coming out of the bigger plant, and then the smaller plant is pushing out a new leaf as well. So definitely have to repot today because she's just drooping every other day and I'm watering her constantly. So we will separate these and repot both plants.
Hello, thanks so much for stopping by. My name is Melisa, but you can call me Mel, and today we will be doing an emergency repot of our big Alocasia Metalhead. I do have to repot it, but I also have to divide it because there is a smaller plant with the mother plant, and it's definitely just taking up a lot of water, so I need to separate them that way. They can each have their own pot and I can water them separately, as opposed to having to water this plant every other day. So we are going to try to do that. Keyword try. No, I think it's gonna be okay. I'm just nervous because, like I said, one plant is already blooming and then one plant is also pushing out a new leaf. So I'm hoping it's not going to cause any stress on the plant. So I'll try not to disturb it too much, but I definitely have to divide it. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm gonna try to take it out without damaging the plant. I'm going to give you a heads up, there are roots coming out from the bottom, so I'm gonna have to lift it. So, oh my God. So can you see that? So I'm gonna have to just not put it directly down. I don't know if I'm gonna need help, but I do have a second pair of hands. All right, so I put down some garbage bags and just tape them up together. And it looks like I'm gonna be able to just pull this out because the holes are nice and big. So I'm just going to yeah, this is definitely going to be. And the soil's still a little wet, which is not ideal, but because it was already drooping, I knew that I would have to wet it again today. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, so you can see it is super healthy, but it is getting pot bound. The roots are starting to grow upward. So definitely this is an emergency repot because it needs a lot more room to grow. So I'm just taking off some of the soil that was up top. Now this is quite dense here, so I'm gonna take some time to try to remove this baby plant. So this one here is the baby plant. You can see that there is a new leaf there. So this is the one I'm gonna have to try to separate. So I'm gonna try to do that as much as I can by massaging the roots here without really disturbing the mother plant. So just cleaning off the top here and just slowly flicking off the soil like that. Also, another thing that I've noticed about this potting soil is that it has a lot of orchid bark. Now, although orchid bark is great, just so it allows a little bit more aeration, more chunky soil, with alocasia, because it uses up so much water and it's a thirsty plant, I find that I probably just need to put more potting mix into its new pot versus a chunkier mix, so that I don't have to water it that often. So I'm going to mix in some chunky medium with more potting mix. That way it can stay a bit more moist more days versus having to water it so frequently. Now the roots are definitely healthy. It's not that it's rotting or anything like that. Like, look at all these healthy roots. So of course the plant has been super happy. I just think it's gonna be a lot happier when I am able to separate them. All right, so I am now working towards separating the plants. This is probably a part where you do have to be very patient I kind of think of it as if you're trying to detangle your own hair. I'm putting my fingers in the root ball at the bottom and just really gently moving the roots around and then slowly trying to feel this loosening up. So I can work around that section and just slowly massage the root hairs. And as you see, so that's the full root system of the two plants, which is very, very healthy. I'm very impressed on the root system here. So I really think it's going to be helpful to separate these, like I said. So, oh, we got an alocasia bulb now. So this is a bulb, an alocasia bulb. So this is actually a plant. So at the bottom here, I'm just gonna clean it up a bit, and I'm actually starting to find some alocasia bulbs. So this is one. So this is gonna be a plant that you can grow from the bulb. And I believe I'm gonna find some other ones. So here's another alocasia bulb. So that's gonna be two plants that we could plant separately. And then this is the mother plant. So this is all gonna be the roots for the mother plant. So now we are going to pot these separately. All right, so I'm going to repot this small one first in this 8-inch pot or grow pot, and it has a drainage hole at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some of this soil in with some new soil just because it's not that old. The only reason I'm changing is because I need to repot it or up-pot it, not so much give it new nutrition or anything like that. It's just that it's taking up a lot of space all in this one pot. So I'm just going to mix it in with some pre-mixed soil that I have and then some of this soil as well. And then that should be okay for the plants. Some people disagree that you can't really reuse some soils, but I don't know, for me, my plants haven't really had an issue with it. Unless obviously the soil is like a year or two old, then definitely you want to give it some new nutrients and stuff. But like I said, this plant, we got it back in the spring, so it doesn't need that much extra nutrition. It's obviously healthy as is, and I'm just going to up-pot it because that's the concern here. Now, the only thing I am going to be doing is making sure that there aren't any roots in the soil, just because I want to make sure that there's actual soil, not just roots. So this is the root system for this little guy. I'm going to place it in the middle, maybe take out some soil. And the soil is probably like a quarter of the way up, so that's enough. And I'm going to place it where I want it to be, probably right there. And I'm just going to backfill with some of this new soil and then mix it in with some of this soil that I had to take out. And like I said, it's helpful that it did have some orchid bark in the soil that it was growing in, but I just don't want to have to water it that often. Sorry, I'm gonna have to redo that. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm trying to be a perfectionist when I pot my plants, just because I want to make sure that they're sitting up enough so that I can make sure that the base of the plant's still in the soil. So we're just gonna do it like that. And then just kind of backfill on either side, like that. Add some new soil. And then make sure that it doesn't move, because this plant tends to reach for the light. So I want to make sure that it does have a good foundation and it's not going to be moving side to side too much. So again, just mixing in some of the previous soil in some of my pre-mixed soil that I have here in my container. I have some perlite, potting mix, and a little bit of peat moss. I may have added, or maybe I forgot to, but peat moss just holds a little bit more of that moisture, which definitely alocasia would need. All right, so this is the finished result of this plant, or the end result of this plant. It's probably going to be a lot happier here. That way it could just live its best life on its own versus having to hold on to the mother plant. So I'm hoping that it does well. It is pushing out a new growth, so we'll see how that goes. And then here's the mother plant, which I will also repot back into its original pot, just because it is still, you know, a good size for it, but it's just probably wasn't a good idea that it was sharing the pot with another plant. So I'm just going to use some of this soil and put it at the bottom. And again, just try to get rid of some of those roots that were kind of sacrificed through the process. And then I'm going to mix in some of the soil that I did put together, just to mix in some new nutrients. And these plants are not that heavy. You probably thinking like, how is she holding it with one hand? They're really not that heavy. So I'm just gonna put the plant right in the middle and then backfill it the same way as I did with that guy. But I'm probably going to lift this up a bit more than what it was. That way it can continue to grow its roots. So now I'm just gonna backfill this one.
It is now time for the plant lover shout out. The plant lover for this video is Rachel's Indoor Garden. Rachel is from Melbourne, Australia, and she said that her favorite part of her plant parent journey is admiring all the different textures, colors, and growth patterns different plants have, as well as styling her home using plants. If you want a chance at becoming the plant lover shoutout in my next video, leave a submission down below and comment where you are living in the world and what is your favorite part of your plant parent journey.
I'm gonna also thoroughly water the plant, because since the plant is a heavy plant, it is going to be going side to side. So I'm just going to water it and then massage the soil a bit. That way I can make sure that the soil is equally distributed. Especially because I didn't water it before I potted it, because I didn't want it to be too wet. So just let the soil soak in that water, and then I just massage the soil a bit so that, again, the plant can stabilize itself. So just like that. And see, so now it doesn't move as much. Now it can stay directly up, and then now the roots can kind of stabilize themselves equally throughout the pot. All right, so there you go. I have 2 plants now, plus some babies that are gonna come pretty soon if I put these bulbs in soil. So here is the plant that I wanted to separate from the mother plant. So hopefully now it could be happy and grow nicely, because I was just talking to my fiance that the reason why these leaves are drooping or down is because the mother plant was actually pushing the plant forward. So it wasn't allowing the plant to really enjoy the space. So now that I am giving it more space, hopefully it does start perking up a bit more, as opposed to thinking that it has to grow on an angle. And then here I have the mother plant, which now I think is gonna be happy, and the baby is not gonna be taking up its energy, and it can start pushing out some big leaves again. I'm also going to put these in soil. These are 2 alocasia bulbs, so I'm just going to plop them into a small growing pot with some moist soil and increase the humidity, and then hopefully I can get some more plants come this spring/summer. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to stick around for my plant mom journey. I did hit over 400 subscribers this week, so thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope you enjoy the coming videos because we are entering spring, so there's definitely a lot more things I'll be doing with my plants come the next couple months. Take care, and I will see you soon.